Welcome to the Colourful Creativity podcast. My name is Carolien and this is episode 68. You can find me online everywhere as Carolien, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Ravelry. You know it. You can find me there. I have an Etsy shop, colourfulcreativity.nl or carolien.etsy.com, and there is a Ravelry group to chat along with everything in this podcast or about my yarn, my Colourful Creativity yarn. And you can find it in the group section on Ravelry under the name Colourful Creativity. So, welcome to all new viewers. I hope you like it here and you subscribe down below and become a returning viewer. And of course, a very warm welcome back to all returning viewers. For everyone returning, you notice I am not in my usual space. Binx is though. Binx is in his usual space, meowing at my feet and jumping on my lap. So, yeah, I wanted to explain why I'm not in my usual space. It's freaking hot in the Netherlands at the moment. I'm not doing well with heat. And yeah, I closed curtains, put everything closed, and it's way too dark in the living room. And this is actually my hallway. There's my front door, so if anyone approaches they can hear me, and if the doorbell rings it's gonna be loud, but I guess I can jump up and open the door in front of their face before they reach the doorbell. Yeah, this is the only space I have with light, and if it were up to me I actually would have had a curtain there as well, but we don't. And yeah. So this is the only spot I can record during the, yeah, I think 10 a.m. until late in the evening. The rest of the house is dark until late evening because the sun is going from the front to the back. I can open up the front, but my kitchen is like a mess and I can't record there. So yeah, we'll have to do. I didn't want to skip an episode and I didn't want to wait longer, so I was like, what is the best spot to do this? Apparently, it's this in the hallway. So without further ado, let me dive into everything I've been up to in the past 2 weeks. I can tell you, I was partially disappointed. I was hoping to get more done, but when you have had episodes where you have more than 2 weeks, of course you have more to show because you have more time to knit and work on other things. First up, I want to show you my finished object. It's just one sock, and I know a pair of socks is a finished object, but in this case it's a sample sock, so I'm only gonna knit one, and this is the Impossible sock pattern by Paper Daisy, also known as Lisa K. Ross, and this is amazing, you guys. Let me show it to you. This is done with mosaic knitting and it's really awesome. I really loved the heel. Last time I showed this to you I was actually about here. Maybe I did a few rows of yellow, but I think I was just starting with the yellow. Someone's looking at me with their big in love eyes. He's still here. But I forgot I had to start the gusset really early with this sock, so I had to rip back all the way to halfway through the orange where this little marker is. That's how far I had to rip. Then I started the gusset increase. I did the heel, and there I made a mistake. This sock is actually really well fitting for me, except for the heel. So I made the mistake of knitting the heel in my 2.5mm needle that I was using for the full sock. It should have been a 2.25mm needle, or a 2.0 actually. So the heel is very saggy for me and a little bit too big. And usually for this yarn I use a 2.25mm needle to knit single stranded sock. but with the 2 strands, the 2.5 millimeters, perfect. The yarn I used is Colourful Creativity yarn, my own hand dyed. It is smooth sock base, and the gray is polished concrete, like the yarn that's also used in the Urban Ballerina Shrek by Telly Bean Knits, a pattern that she made with my yarn. And also the minis are from that same design project, but I thought it would be nice to show you all the other options that you can do with it, not just that shrug, but also a lovely pair of socks. So I really love this sock, and I'm definitely gonna knit myself a pair where I do keep in mind that I want to knit this on a smaller size needle. So, other finished objects, or no, let's see the work in progress things. I showed you last time with that I was knitting on a Tegna top, sweater, how you want to call it. I want to make the knit top without the sleeves. I can tell you I knit a little bit on it further, and then I saw on Instagram someone who was knitting on it, who put it on and was like, this is like twice my size. I was like, damn, that's the feeling I have when knitting it, and I look at it and I'm like, this is way too big and drapey for me. So I put a bigger cable in it. Then I tried it on, even though it was only this bit of lace and nothing had decreased or anything. I was like, no, I'm not gonna tempt fate and knit on and then have to rip like this bit. So I tried it on and it was like twice my size. I was like, yeah, this really is too big. This can be stretchy, and no. Then I checked my gauge, and even though I swatched, my gauge was different with the lace, and I was like, I had 2 stitches too many per 10 centimeters instead of 2 stitches too less, which makes it very much off. So I have to recalculate things, and this is my Tegna sweater at the moment. My husband helped me to get it into a ball that I can pull from the outside, and the inside is connected to the cake. And the yarn I used was Unicat, which is 50% acrylic and 50% cotton, and it's an unplied yarn, so a 4-ply that's unplied, and it's kind of lace fingering yarn. I thought it was nice to have some cotton acrylic top, but apparently it was not given to me this time. Then my other project I've been working on in my teak bag. I don't know the maker, so sorry about that. But in here is a shawl. And actually it is kind of warm to work on it because it has more hair, but I have to plow through. And it's the only one I like at the moment. This is by Julie Knits in Paris, and this is a Cosmic Dandy shawl. And I am doing the second option with larger vertical stripes. And yeah, it is pretty boring to do over 300 short rows, but it's actually nice to do that now with the current weather and not to have to think about it. That's why I really knitted on that sock. It was so much fun to knit, and in the end it was kind of mindless, even though it has a pattern. It grows on you. It really does, the mosaic knitting. It's really nice. So I'm still looking for another project I can lose my time in. You know, when you have a book that really sucks you in, I have projects like that, and I don't have one at the moment, so I'm making this my project that can suck me in or something. This is the front side. So last time I showed this to you, I was in the horizontal stripes. This is difficult to show you guys. So these are the horizontal stripes. And now I'm adding the vertical stripes. And it looks absolutely amazing. So I'm very happy with this. Hello, are you back again? Ah, you're a nosy little brat. So, yarn I'm using, it's pretty boring. I'm knitting almost only with my own yarn because I need the samples for the shows I'm vending. So Das Bunte Schaf in Germany. September 9th, and it's pretty close to Cologne. And also in Cardiff at the Knit Tea Retreat I will be vending as well. So I need some things to show off the yarn and how it feels and how it looks knit up and etc. I like that if vendors have samples or shops as well. So that's why I'm knitting so much with my own yarn. I actually am having a backlog of yarn coming in that I want to knit and making a queue of projects that's going to be knit on during my vacation in Cardiff. Then I'm like, yes, somewhere after halfway October-ish, I can finally knit things that are not my own yarn again. And still, my yarn is great, I think. So, I know, tooting my own horn. But yeah, if you're a dyer, it's like, what am I looking for? And you have an idea in your head and it's easier to dye it than to look for it at other dyers. But sometimes you have yarn you like so much, you just want to buy it and knit with it. So these are the colors that I am using, and this purple is really a bad color on screen. It always turns blue purple instead of the warm fuzzy purple it is. This is again Colourful Smooth Sock, the same as for the sock. It's my perfect go-to base at the moment because it's thinner than my soft sock and still amazingly soft. It's 75% merino and 25% nylon, and it has a beautiful drape, and yeah, I just love it. And this one is Colourful Kid Silk. And no, I'm not a fan of mohair. This is mohair with silk and it's hairy as hell. And this is not my favorite feeling, so I'm not sure if I can wear the shawl. But if I do this, I think after washing it, it might be okay for me. And otherwise, it's a sample. It needs to stay pretty, so I am dyeing more of the kid silk to come with me to the shows, but of course we'll have to see how it goes and how it sells, if there's anything left for anyone who's not attending the shows. But you have to dye so much for a show, and I do not keep a big stock usually because I like to have new stuff every time. So now I'm dyeing things in bigger quantities and it takes time. I have a lot of colorways already done, but it is still a lot. So meanwhile, I'm looking here next to me. Oh, the weather is not helping either. It's really hot to dye with this weather. I'm sweating like a pig in my kitchen. Also sweating now because it's just too hot. It's 26 degrees Celsius in the house, and that's cool-ish. Outside it's 32 degrees at the moment. And they say we're gonna get to 37, so heading to the 100 Fahrenheit. I don't want to think about that. I think I'm just gonna lie down on my bed under my ceiling fan and do not move. Drink a lot of water, read a book, and just think, get this day over with. And it's set to be that way for 2 weeks. So, what else have I been up to? If I haven't been up to knitting, I have been up to spinning. I think I showed you some things already, but not yet finished. So this one is my first Tour de Fleece spin, my finished spin. This is a 2-ply of two, no, not two, I think it were more. It were mini bats, and it was a sample of faux cashmere. The mini bats were merino, and I finally managed to get a yarn that is soft. I'm pretty good at over twisting it, or at least I was. And then you get something like barbed wire or rope and it's so tough. So that didn't happen this time, and this is my first actually soft yarn, and I'm really proud of it. Then that is a 2-ply. I used the leftover to make a Navajo or 3-ply yarn, and if it focuses you might be able to see it. It's not the best one. With this, Binx kept jumping on my lap and I just went ahead. So this is a bit over twisted, but this was my first time trying it again. I did have a first time before, but that was a big mess. Yeah, it is okay. Then I tried again without Binx on my lap, because I took off this one of the bobbin. Finally, it was plied and ready and everything, but this was my spinning lesson I had last year after the Tudor fleece. This is also a 2-ply, but this is Tesselar, so it's a breed of sheep that is Dutch. It is scratchy, but it's not as scratchy as the merino I spun before, so that's really good. It was a big bat I got at the spinning lesson and it was great. And there was some other things on that bobbin, but I just went on and made a 3-ply to practice my Navajo plying skills. I think it's N-ply, Navajo ply, chain ply. There's lots of names for it. So yeah, I really like the look and feel of a 3-ply yarn. And since I want to spin a sock yarn, that's my ultimate goal, make my own sock yarn. So I'm taking some merino nylon fiber and then make it into a sock yarn. You have to practice for a high twist 3-ply. After these projects, I started spinning up a beautiful bat by Dutch Wool Diva, and these are still singles. Hope you can see it. It has a little bit of stellina in there as well, and it's really gorgeous. It goes from blue-green to a orange neon pink, and then back to a blue-green. You can still see it here in the neon stuff, but there's layers underneath that are better visible. I zigzagged that bat, and that means I went this way to create some kind of roving like material that I could spin up. I had a big ball, and then the prepping is really important, I noticed. I didn't do that before. I just got the whole roving and just sat there, and I know it is possible. But if you prep it, you get a lot less material in your hand, and for me it's easier to stay spinning very thin, because that's what I want. It shouldn't be a worsted weight sock yarn. I want a 4-ply or fingering weight sock yarn. Then I spun up this one. Also made the singles. These are Undercover Otter Rolex that I also prepped by pulling them out. And what I also learned is people telling me those are not Rolex because they are tightly wound, and Rolex are fluffy and airy. These are rolls, so fine with me. On the packaging it said Rolex. So these Rolex are called Terror Tentacles, and they were like aqua with a little bit of orange in between, and then aqua again. And I kept that. So in this yarn you get aqua and then a bit of orange. So you get sections and you get a little self-striping effect. This is 3-ply as well. So I kept the whole sections. Hi Binx. And this is not washed yet or set. This came off the bobbin right away. To show you guys, of course. What can I tell you about it? Oh yeah, it's about 160 meters in 50 grams. So that means 320 meters for 100 grams. Which is a teeny tiny bit thicker than fingering. So that is awesome. I really love that I made it work. And patent scroll, for instance, is also I think about 325 meters per 50 gram. No, per 100 gram. And yeah, that means that I am at patent scroll thickness. So I could knit socks of this, but this blend is not sock material. So what is sock material is this. I dyed up some merino nylon top in colorways just like If I Want Exposure, I'll Get My Tits Out. And I spun it very thin, as you saw on the bobbin. And this is what the bump looks like. I braided it pretty and stuff, but I split it up, and this is half of it. And this is the prepped other half. I'm making all these tiny little fuzzy thingies, and these one actually should be split up again, but I do that when I work on it. But I guess for me the Tour de Fleece is already over, because it looks like I'm developing something like heel spur from my spinning wheel, and that's not good. Not good at all. So I have to take it really slow. I have to admit, I have been spinning the past 2 days, which I actually shouldn't have. I think it was Sunday that my foot was so sore. And yesterday my whole heel was tingly. And this morning when I tried to spin again, it started to tingle again immediately. So I stopped right away, and I only did like a quarter of a fuzz, those little fuzzlings. So this will probably take a while, and that's okay. I'm going really slowly with this, so probably the motion is too slow and too invasive or something. So that is all I have been working on. I do miss one project here, and I think it's still in my purse, but that's my go-to waiting room knitting. That's the patent scry sock I'm making for Robert, but I actually know I only did 1 centimeter of it because I didn't have that much waiting room time. Woohoo! And to other places I actually took my shawl, because that's also a great project to knit on and not taking too much mind and head space. So we are now at awesome yummy stuff that came in. Actually, there is enough again this week. Oh my goodness. I've been hoarding like a mad woman. And I have something in my hand that I'm actually not sure if I showed it to you before, but it's so pretty. If it's twice in there, it is totally okay. This is half a long yarn, and this is her If I Want Exposure, I'll Get My Tits Out colorway. Yay! Let me see. I'll open it up so you can see. Sorry for the crinkling. This is the graffiti overlay version, because it has, that color is washed out, thank you. It has speckles on it, and they actually glow in the dark. So Havieland made a really awesome Tits Out collective. I was actually I put my alarm for this one. I just really needed that one. And at first this was the only yarn I was gonna get. And the project bag I showed you last time from the Knitting Goddess. And then something went wrong. I started to get really, really greedy. Yay. So I had to get this project bag, and I think you know why I had to get this after seeing last week's episode. These are beautiful big ladies. I could actually say fat ladies because fat is not a bad word. In bikinis, sharing their love of body positivity. I so love this bag that I really had to get one. And this is handmade by Janie. I think she has them in the shop still, so if you want one, go get one. And what she does is she sends these lovely lavender bags with them, so it smells amazing here. Oh, really, if you put your project in, oh, that's just amazing. I love it. So that's that one. A third purchase for the If I Want Exposure, I'll Get My Tits Out collective. I actually know there are 2 more on the way, and I might have purchased even 2 more. Yes, there's still one on my wish list probably. So let's just not get into that too much. Next up is super awesome. I actually won a prize by Craftfulness. Sandra had a question in her podcast and I answered it and I won. So that's really awesome. I got this wonderful, here's her card by the way, her new card. Wonderful needle nest, which I really like. I adore these colors. Suddenly I'm a mint color lover. It's new to me. So she added a wonderful card and it's in Dutch. And the back is of course written to me, so I'm not gonna show you that. It kind of means let me just knit a little mindful instead of mindful. I really like that quote. And she added another card and it's the Kitchener stitch in Dutch explained, which is awesome because I'm gonna give that to my mom and hopefully she finally gets it. And of course then there was yarn, and not just any yarn. This is the luxury base in the Don't Disturb colorway, and this is the Lanterns colorway. And this yarn is so soft. This really is pure luxury. This is a 80% superwash merino, 10% nylon and 10% cashmere. And this is 100 grams, 400 meters. So I am thinking these might be 2 pairs of socks. One for me and one for Robert, probably for our luxurious winter feet. But I have to say, at the moment, I don't even want to think about wearing socks, even though I have worn socks because I had to put some ointments on my heel and my foot. So I put on a sock over it so the cats wouldn't be licking off anything, because that's what they do. That's what you do. And then I have one last skein, and this is the one I didn't want to show you last time. So if you are in Undercover Otters Clan of Igors and you have not received July's Clan of Igors, I mean it's what is it, 24th of July, so that would be possible if you are not from Europe. Please look away. Look away now while you still can. Here it is coming. Final warning. Look away if you haven't gotten July's Clan of Igors. Ta-da-da-da! Here it is. Logo, of course. Let me take the ball band off because it's missing its beauty. Look at that neon beautiful yarn. And yes, I know these two so much apart and still love both. I will admit, I'm more this kind of girl, but I know Robert would like a pair of socks of this probably better than the flashy stuff. So we're both gonna be happy. And yeah, I'm just an undercover hoarder. I have so much yarn of her and hardly ever use it. So that's one of the things I want to start doing. Probably make some shawls or something devoted to a single dyer if I have a lot of it, or a single kind of yarn, not mixing bases. I could even do a sweater with it. Maybe I could even do a faded sweater with it. That would be nice. I could also do that with single ply yarn because I kind of been hoarding single ply yarn. Yeah, it's been bad. I have been a bad girl. So I am looking in here, and I guess I've shown you all. So that's reasonably quick, which is good because it's really, really hot, and I think it's time to put on my fan again so I can cool off a little bit and get something to drink. I have some shop news. I have had a new shipment of Haya stuff, so everything should be back in stock. So maybe not everything, but a lot of things should be back in stock, like darn it needles, panda stoppers, sets of interchangeable needles in sharp and steel are back in, and there's also some new exciting needle thingy coming in, but that's not Haya. I have ordered from XoXo. I'm really excited about that because you know my love for XoXo DPNs if you have watched before, and yeah, I decided to stock up the DPN set that I really like, and hoping you also like that, I thought I'd buy a few more, and those will be in the shop as soon as they come in, because of course I'm really excited about them. So yeah, and that's probably it for the shop update that's coming this month. Haya and XoXo needles, because well, yarn is just not happening. There is still plenty of yarn. Every colorway I have, I think, multiples of. You can still order the Tits Out collective yarn, which is super, super awesome. Here I have the test ball or cake. Actually, the first one I made. For those of you who haven't seen it, this is a knitted knocker. So €3.50 of every sold skein of my Tits Out collective yarn is going to the Knitted Knockers Foundation in the Netherlands, the Breiboezem. And currently we are at little over 120 euros, which is super awesome, you guys. I am so excited and so happy we raised that much already. But I am hoping we can push it to maybe 150. I expected only about 30 euros, so this is like amazing. I have dyed that colorway so much already, and I still love it. I'm even loving it more and thinking I need to make myself a exposure top by Julie Knits in Paris with it, because it's just so beautiful. So I have to finish that Cosmic Dandy shawl soon, so I can cast on a exposure top with it. Yeah. Further, of course, there is a coupon code for Frog Peak Creation, her Etsy shop, frogpeakcreations.etsy.com, and her shop is really stocked at the moment, and you can get 15% off with Colourful 15. no end date, just always, or at least until she stops it, but I think it's gonna stay there for a while. And yeah, still one person I need to hear from who won a copy of the Halcyon pattern. So if you see this one first and then the other one and you joined in on the giveaway, check it out. And I guess with that, Binx and I are gonna say see you again next time.